I'm Sofia Bernardi, mindset and business coach supporting ambitious new and rising coaches plus service-based businesses to master their mindset, create an aligned and profitable strategy, and grow a six-figure business using the Rising Coach method. I built a multi-six-figure business by the age of 24, and in this podcast, I will teach you the psychology, strategy, and energetics to do the same. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to Rising Coaches with Sofia Bernardi. This is one of my favorite times of year, which is to recap on the year plus setting goals and intentions for the following year. I did this last year, and throughout the year, I actually listened back to that episode a couple of times because it's always so interesting to see how I grow and evolve over time, to see whether my goals that I set at the beginning were still relevant and whether I was on track for them and how I was feeling. You know, I really try and be as vulnerable and genuine and as authentic as I possibly can on the podcast. And everywhere for that matter, so that for my own reflection, I'm really able to see the realist picture of where I was at, and I intend to do the same today. And so I just listened to the episode again one last time as I was reflecting on the year over the last hour or so, and I really hope that I've been able to capture as many things as possible to be able to recap and share with you all today. So essentially how this episode is going to work is I'm going to share with you first a review of the year of 2022. At the time of recording this, it is currently the 23rd of December, 2022. So I'm going to recap my word for the year, and I'm going to recap my goals that I set at the beginning of the year. And then I'm going to be really vulnerable and share with you the highs and the lows of the year, because everyone experiences both, and both are so incredibly important. And then after I've done that, I'm going to share with you my 2023 goals and word for the year and my why behind them, so that again, next year we can recap together and see what happens. I'm so excited. All right, let's get straight into it. You know, I'm not about dabbling here on the podcast. So firstly, my word for 2022 was expansion. Now, to me, that meant growing in all areas of my life and stepping into a whole new level of abundance, with the main areas being health, wealth, and relationships. So relationships with my beautiful partner and with friends and family, and wealth being, you know, both personally and within my company, Rising Ventures, and my health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And my goals that I set at the very beginning of the year was to reach 500,000 Australian dollars in sales within my business. And my second goal was to complete 75 hard and weigh 65 kilos. Now, two things I'm really, really big on when it comes to setting goals that I shared with you my exact process in last year's episode. Just take a big scroll and go find it. I shared my process of setting goals, as I'm really big on setting just two, for simplicity, for focus, and for clarity, right? I feel like you have a much greater chance of reaching them when you are specific and clear like that. And the other thing I'm really, really big on is setting really big, quote unquote, impossible goals. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, or even on Spotify, you can see the video version of this episode, and you'll know that I love setting really big and impossible goals, because the whole point of goal setting for me is not necessarily the achievement or completion of the goal, but more who you become in the process. And so I'd much rather set a goal that feels quote unquote impossible and far away and get somewhat close to it or achieve it, than set something that I know that I can achieve and work my way towards that, and in turn not really stretching myself too much. So that's really my mentality around goal setting. So I made sure to set goals that felt really, really uncomfortable at the start of the year, and uncomfortable they were, and it totally allowed me to expand as a person, emotionally and energetically. And yeah, so they were my two goals. Now, did I achieve them? That is the big question. So my first goal being $500,000 in sales within my company, I got bloody close, but I didn't quite get there. So obviously it's the 23rd of December. There is definitely still time, but I don't think I'll quite make it. But wow, I felt really, really close, considering, 500,000 felt truly, truly far away at the beginning. So I got to $387,623 in sales at the time of recording this. So I definitely have a few more thousand coming in at the rest of the year. So I know that we'll definitely get over the 390 mark 100%. But yeah, about $100,000 off. I find that incredible. Something I'm so, so grateful for a few reasons. One, it definitely pushed my limits on what I thought was possible. For myself, it was only a few years ago that I truly felt not good enough and stuck and lost, and like I would just like never amount to anything and always be in a very below average job because I didn't have a degree behind me and I didn't have much intelligence, or so I thought anyways. And so to be earning well and truly above the average wage here in Australia anyways, and probably one of the top in the world overall, if you were to compare like that, that's just something I will never ever ever take for granted. And I noticed with this amount of income coming in, it's really pushed me in a lot of ways, and really expanded me is honestly the right word, which I'm really grateful I've like kind of lived up to that word that I set, because I've had to hold more energetically. I've had to not self-sabotage and ruin that, and make sure that my profit margin has stayed strong, made sure that I've been able to pay for everything, including, my own wage and everything like that, and reinvest into the business and be really smart with these decisions, and learn how to utilize my income the best of ways possible. The other reason I'm so grateful for this is because that money is purely based on the fact that there are people out on the planet that trust me serving and supporting them with their goals. And that is fucking cool. So I really just believe that the money that you earn is based on the value that you provide quite often. And so I feel like I've provided a lot of value for a lot of people this year. And, this is, I can't remember my income exactly for the previous year, but I definitely doubled it. And to know that that is now possible, even more so for 2023 and so forth, is just, it really excites me knowing what's possible, that, things can just go well and truly beyond my wildest dreams. And that has just given me so much energy for like whatever I set my mind to, I can totally move towards, and things can just happen in the most exciting way. And I'm also really grateful to say that this amount of money, yes, I worked my ass off and I worked so hard and I worked most days in the year, but at the same time, I've never felt like I can't do whatever it is I want. If a friend messages me saying, do you want to go for a walk? I can go for a walk. If my partner says, let's go on a holiday, I can go on a holiday. If I want to go on a holiday, I can just go. I've been able to help people financially. I've been able to give back in ways that I've never been able to give before. I've been able to pay people's full-time wages. Like, I've just been able to do so much with this level of income, and it's made me, I honestly feel like more generous and giving than ever before as well. And I've just felt a lot of sense of freedom, and just ways I can give and create and expand. And that is what I believe money provides for you. And I think that that's just so cool. So I didn't quite reach the financial goal, but I certainly got close, and I'm really, really proud of myself in all honesty. And then my second goal was to complete 75 hard. I explained it in a lot of depth in that podcast episode, and did a couple of episodes on it reflecting on that challenge in of itself as well, my podcast, that were really popular episodes. And I'm really grateful to say that I did complete that goal. So I started on the 1st of January. I didn't fail once. I completed the whole thing. And it gave me a lot of positive habits, and really stretched me and pushed me. It wasn't easy at all times. So that was really, really cool. And part of that goal was also to end up weighing 65 kilos, which I can't say that I weigh 65 kilos. And honestly, I'm quite okay with that, because I've since grown so much to realize that weight doesn't really mean too much. I've put on a lot of muscle because I found my dream gym, which I'll get into later. And I just feel so strong. And I know that, muscle weighs quite a lot. So I didn't quite reach my goal, but that's okay. I'm really, really proud of myself for completing 75 hard. So those were my two goals. Now I want to do a recap, and we'll start with the we'll start with the highs first, as you know, there were a lot of really great things that I want to share that have come as a result of me having these two big goals and having my word being expansion for the year. So the first one I want to share that probably means the most to me is I've reached a whole new level of depth within my relationship with my partner Geordie, and we actually celebrated 3 years together. I feel like our communication, our love, our depth, and our celebration has just grown so much as a result of doing a lot of inner work on ourselves individually and collectively, and just being a team through, you know, some big challenges as well. And I'm just really proud of him, and I'm really proud of me and us together as well. So to have reached that level of depth that continues to evolve and change is just really important to me. And I feel like relationships definitely show you what it is you need to heal, learn, and grow from. And that it certainly has. The next thing that is a real high is that my business obviously completely quantum leaped financially and client-wise and program-wise and structure-wise, you know, whilst the foundations of what I'm doing in my business are very much the same. We have a whole new level of systems and structures in place and automations and simplicity. I also have a team now, which I'll get into in a moment, and I'm holding the space for so many clients. I think at the time of recording this, we have over 80 different clients. And financially, like I said, you know, my bank account really did double, which I'm really grateful for. Now, hiring support. I've hired more support than ever before. And honestly, I see this as a high and a win within my business, because it's not everyone that's in a financial position to have support in all areas of their life. And I also really believe in investing in myself and how that allows me to grow and expand tenfold. I always receive tenfold of whatever I invest. So I'm happy to say that, I've got 2 coaches that support me. I've got a business manager now. I've got a sales closer who's just joined our team. I've got an appointment setter. I've got my VA still, who I had at the beginning of the year as well. I've got a kinesiologist and a bookkeeper. I just think that's so cool to be able to invest at those levels and have that much support, because it makes my life so much easier, and I move through challenges a lot faster, and it's a lot more fun. I also learned how to create a more inclusive and diverse business racially, right? That's really important to me, to have a really inclusive business, and learning actually how to do that from someone of color and who, you know, has expertise and experience around, you know, what that really looks like. And I just feel like I have a lot more understanding and awareness of people's differences and how I can support people with who they are and where they're at, and being able to speak into that a lot more confidently as well. I also traveled for the first time in years with Geordie, because obviously we had the pandemic, which really limited people in travel over the last few years. So to be able to just fly somewhere on a plane is really cool. And we experienced some amazing things. You know, we stayed in the most beautiful Airbnb that was surrounded by nature in this forest, isolated from everyone. It was so beautiful, in Noosa. And we went to Melbourne, we went to Queensland and Townsville. We went on a hot air balloon. We went and swam in the Great Barrier Reef and saw a shark. And Geordie and I are just obsessed with sharks. We went on jet skis. I'm probably missing a billion things, but we did so many things, and I'm so grateful we got to do that. I also diversified my financial portfolio and have learned, actually through investing in a course, actually how to diversify my income and invest in shares and using the stock market to really make the most of my money, so it doesn't just deflate away after all the hard work I've done. So that was really cool, and I'm really excited and have some really big financial goals that I want to move towards in that area. I also created 2 new programs in my business. So I have 3 programs. I have Rise to Coach, which is my self-paced lifetime access course for new coaches starting their business. I have my mastermind, which is now called Rise to 6, and it's for, women that are doing roughly $2,000 per month that want to scale to 10K plus months. And then I have my inner circle, Rise to 7, which is for women who are already doing 6 figures in their business and want to scale to multiple 6 figures and head towards that 7-figure mark, right? Which is $1 million. I also did a full rebrand of my business. I changed all the colors, and it just feels so aligned and just like that new version of myself. And yeah, I'm really excited about that recent change. My website's beautiful and my Instagram's beautiful, and I just feel really aligned in my business right now. I also found my dream gym, which is a combination of boxing and strength. I love it so much, and this is what I mean by gaining a lot of muscle. Like, I just love boxing. It's a huge passion of mine. It's that nice mixture of cardio and a bit of strength as well, and I just feel so good about it, to be learning that skill set and being in a gym that's like with such aligned people and happy, fun people. I also found my dream friendship group, both personally and business-wise. So I joined a book club here in Adelaide that's full of women in business and just, ambitious women in general. And it's just the coolest thing. I've met so many incredible friends. I just went shopping with some of those girls today and worked at a cafe with some of those girls. Like, they've become lifelong friends, and I'm just so grateful to be around supportive, like-minded people, because last year in 2021, that was definitely something I seriously struggled with. I lost a lot of friends. That's a story for another time, but it was really hard, and I honestly thought I would never find people that were, aligned and genuine ever again, and so glad that I have. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, in my personal life as well, I've made some really lifelong friends that I would just trust with my whole life and more, and I see them like all the time, and they just are there in the good times and the bads, and that is exactly what I wanted, and I'm just so grateful for that, and will never take that for granted. My savings doubled, which is really cool, and I completed 75 hard. So on reflection, they are the main things I would say. I feel like I'm probably missing a few things, but that's the main recap of highs for 2020. Are you ready to create aligned, scalable results in your coaching or service-based business? If so, I'd love to work with you. I support my clients through my signature programs, Rise to Coach, which is for new coaches or service providers wanting to sign their first clients, and Rise to 6 to scale to consistent 10K months. DM me at Sofia Rose Bernardi on Instagram to learn more and see if one of my programs is the right fit for you. Highs for 2023. Now, I absolutely want to be transparent and share with you the low moments, because I really believe that life is going to be this mixture of duality, and you have to be able to hold the low moments as well as the high, and know that everything is temporary and passing, right? And so it's actually in these low moments that I feel like you are tested, and it's such an opportunity for a breakthrough and growth and up leveling. And I really believe that my breakdowns lead me to my breakthrough. So I'm actually really grateful for all of the challenges that come up for me in life and in business, because they allowed me to hold more and become more grounded and vulnerable and wise, and all of the things in between. So I wanted to share them with you transparently. I'm literally going to share everything I can think of, but also know that I wouldn't change it for the world, and I'm grateful for all of the challenges equally to the high. That's how important I feel like they are. So one of the low moments was having a team member that wasn't quite right for my business. That brought up a lot for me emotionally, and was really hard for me to navigate, quote unquote, feeling like I was hurting someone or letting them down, or them also feeling like I felt like, I was quite disappointed and let down in my business as well. And that was really tough, and brought up a lot of, triggers for me to heal, honestly. Again, so grateful for it now, because it taught me what I do and what I don't want in a team member, and, having more clarity around my hiring process, and just, being more clear and direct from the beginning, and, being able to speak my truth and my needs, and knowing that that's perfectly okay, and that not everything is my fault. So I think I can be a bit hard on myself sometimes, and just go straight to blaming myself, when really in some cases, it's fully okay to express my needs and desires, and if that's not being met, then I can do something about that. So that was one low moment for sure, and I'm just grateful for the people around me that supported me through this hiring decision as well. So that was one thing. Another thing was, and this is something recently that I've navigated, that I've had a lot of support with, and it's already transformed me in many ways. And I realized I had this belief of fear of being seen. I was really afraid of bumping into some people here in Adelaide that, haven't been so nice to me in the past. I was petrified of bumping into them, and that made me quite anxious in like big environments. So that was a little bit scary, and just, not feeling 100% confident, like telling, family, friends that knew me before I started business, like owning what I do confidently. I made some assumptions that people were judging me, or, thought X, Y, Z of me. And that really stopped me from really just like speaking my full truth and owning and acknowledging what it is I do. Because the truth is, I freaking love what I do, and I love who I am. And I think my business is so much more than just a job. It is like my life's sole purpose, and I love it so much. And it's important to own that with the people you speak to. And so I realized this fear of being seen like was showing up, with people that, I knew before I started a business. It was then showing up with, new people I was meeting. It was making me afraid to go certain places, and like made me question myself quite a lot. And so and that showed up in really interesting ways, and it affected my confidence, and that then stems into many areas of life. So healing that with my kinesiologist and my coach and my own inner work processes was really, really important. I also experienced for the first time client challenges, whether that's payment failures and them navigating challenges, and me learning how to handle that and support them through that and hold space for that. And, this has been really, really challenging. I've had to change, structures and systems in my business. I've had to change, how I think about myself and how I interpret challenges, and, how to like really be in my feminine and my masculine at times, and really owning the decisions that I make. So that was something. But the beautiful side to this is my capacity to hold more has really, really increased. And that is so important for increasing your income. So that's been amazing. And it's taught me, how I want to run my business and what's really important, and how to feel really good in that as well. Something else that was really challenging is my partner's grandfather passed away this year. He was an incredible man and lived a beautiful, long life. And everything was very peaceful how it happened, but it was still heartbreaking to watch, my partner and his family navigate that, because he was such an inspiration to so many. And I feel really privileged and grateful that I got to experience and witness death, as it's something I've never, experienced before, but, in a really beautiful and healing and loving way. So that was really sad to witness. But it's also this grounding feeling of like, life is short, really make the most of it. But to see that, he lived his full life to maximum capacity was really incredible. But it was obviously heartbreaking to watch my partner go through that when that was like his absolute idol in life. So that was a bit of a challenge. And I went through some, mindset challenges from previous friendships from the past that still flowed on into this year, and I had to do a lot of healing with that. And so going back to that fear of being seen, I really had to heal through and let go of all of that, and just relationship challenges at times and things like that. And having that support and that process to navigate that has just made everything so much better and deeper and stronger. But that doesn't mean it's not challenging at that time in the moment. I also went through some health challenges, with tonsillitis, and how that played out like in this weird way for an extended period of time. And, really learning how to navigate, health challenges is not something I'm used to at all. And like I said, me learning how to heal that, just took some time, and I'm still in the process of it. But it's so much better than before. But it taught me a lot about balance and looking after myself, and how health is number one, and having a really sustainable process, which is, a big driving force for my goals next year, which I'll share with you shortly. And the last challenge that I would say I experienced, and again, no regrets whatsoever, was just starting to feel feelings of burnout. And I think burnout's a pretty big word, and so I don't really want to use it, because I don't think that's fully accurate for how I was feeling, but very temporarily. I caught onto it and did something about it immediately. But I did start to feel those feelings of exhaustion at one point. I think, not listening to my body 100%, and just my business growing so much faster than I could have anticipated, just having a few really, really big months, and it just all sort of caught up on me. And because I didn't, my income increased, my clients increased, I was doing more, but I didn't change anything in terms of my life so that I could actually hold that. And that just all caught up on me, and I felt that in my body, and I had to very quickly learn how to hold more and process things and take a step back and look after myself. So that was, really, really important. And yeah, I just love that my body tells me when I need to make certain changes. And that's everything, guys. That is the recap of my highs, my lows, my word for the year, and my goals, and whether I achieved them or not. So overall, I'm super, super proud and happy of how this year has gone. I would say this is one of my happiest years yet, and most abundant, expansive years, which is really cool. Especially considering this year wasn't full of, traveling the world and doing all of these crazy things. I feel like I've been home a lot of the year and not that much has happened. But to have loved that, like to have found joy in working at cafes and, going for walks with friends and hanging out with friends and having that kind of cool balance, and really realizing like the power of my business and what that allows for me to do. And I think this is my first full year of literally only working in my business rather than like little casual jobs on the side as well, is so freaking cool. So really, really grateful for that. I also became closer with family members as well. And yeah, it's been unexpected. It's been cool. And I'm just grateful for all of it. Like I said, the highs and the lows. And I think it's so important to acknowledge that we're all going to have those moments. And that's why I want to be transparent and sharing that, because the last thing you kind of feel like doing when you're going through things is like sharing that online. But now that I'm through these things and on the other side, it's so much easier to speak about them, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is that. So my goals for 2023. Firstly, I want to start with my word that I've decided for 2023. Well, I've actually chosen two this year, for next year, sorry. And that is to simplify and amplify. And what that means for me is, from everything that's happened this year, being such a big year, I've realized in order for me to be fulfilled, to have a sustainable and scalable business, I need to simplify everything, the systems and structures, the marketing strategies, the branding, the work that I do. I just want to simplify everything. It's been a word that's been coming up for me for a better part of 6 months now, and I've already made some massive changes towards that, but I'm still feeling so called in every area of my life to just simplify everything, because I feel like that's more sustainable, it's more scalable, it's more fulfilling. It's just better to simplify. It's easier. It's less overwhelming in all of the things. So I've been decluttering like crazy the last month, and that's got nothing to do with business, but I'm just feeling called to like let go and simplify of like everything that is not necessary. So, and then amplify is to like grow and evolve everything that I've currently got. So grow my income, grow my health, grow my relationships. So it's not necessarily about having more, it's just like enhancing what I currently have, because what I have right now is freaking amazing and I wouldn't change it for the world. So I just want to amplify it all, essentially. So simplify and amplify. So get rid of what I don't need and grow what I have, and yeah, and that's that. So I'm a big believer in setting two big goals. So for wealth, I'm stretching myself like no tomorrow with my business, and that is to have my first $1 million year in sales, with a simple and fulfilling process. And my why for this is to create more freedom, more fulfillment, and more impact than I currently am. And from sharing my result at the beginning of this episode with me being currently at $387,000 in sales, to now wanting to move towards my first $1 million year, as you can hear, that is a huge jump. And I'm okay with that, because that stretches me. Obviously, so much needs to change in order for me to do that. But I have this inner feeling that I can do it and that I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be working on my belief every single day towards that becoming my reality, and doing whatever it takes in a way that doesn't harm me or people around me in the process, of course. So I also know that reaching the $1 million mark is not about doing more, it's about being more. And so that is what I'm going to be, when I say do whatever it takes, I mean that's what I'm going to be doing, not necessarily doing more, but just doing what it takes, meaning going to the depths, going to the discomfort, to release, to heal, to move forwards, and show up in a really expansive and way. So first $1 million sales in Australian dollars, and that's my why. And then my second big goal is it's a little bit broad and general. I'm really big on setting specific goals, but it's specific in my brain. But essentially, I just want to fall completely in love with my body and my health on the inside and out with a sustainable routine. And the reason why this is my goal is because up until now with my health, I've been very all or nothing. 75 hard was an intense goal that I had, and it was amazing and I wouldn't change anything, but that's not sustainable to do 2 workouts every day, to read 10 pages of a book, to drink a gallon of water, to do all of those things every single day and to stick to like one specific diet. That was quite extreme. It's not sustainable. And so whilst it's amazing like who I became in the process of doing that, rather than like having some big achievement goal like I have in the past of like running a marathon, running a half marathon, doing all of those things, now I just want to find a process that I can actually stick to. And that goes for my workout routine, but mainly like I'm very consistent with working out. I work out, I would say 4 to 5 times a week, and I go for walks with friends every week, probably at least 3 times. So I'm pretty active in that sense. But in terms of my like eating, I do not have a sustainable process that truly is good for me all the time, and listening to my body and everything like that. So that's really, my goal is to just fall in love with my body, and that's going to be inner work and mindset work, but then just have a sustainable routine as well, so I don't have to do extreme things, I suppose, and I can just consistently be in a good place with my health and my body. I realized how important my health is, and my why for that is to have energy, to have confidence, and have sustainability. So they're my 2 goals. And some little bonus goals that I thought I would mention here because it will be interesting to see where I'm at in a year's time. And the reason why I say these are kind of bonus things is because it's really going to depend on, what the world looks like in 2023. But given it all works out, I would love to have invested a minimum of $100,000 in my portfolio and potentially buy a house, given the circumstances are okay. I might not want that depending on a few things, but at the moment it would be amazing to have a house if the right opportunity comes up. So I thought I would say that and see where I'm at. In terms of my relationship with Geordie and my friendships, honestly, I just want to continue expanding those because I have the greatest friends in the world and the greatest partner. So I just want to continue and deepen that. Nothing I'd want to change, just sustain that. That is my 2022 in review and my 2023 goals. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know on Instagram. Come message me at Sofia Rose Bernardi. Your thoughts on this, your biggest takeaway, and what your goals are. I really want to hear your goals, and I hope me being transparent in sharing that inspires and encourages you to do the same. And if you would like to work with me in 2023 and be along this proximity and expansion, definitely message me on Instagram. I've got one of my 3 programs that would be a great fit for you, and I just want to have a chat with you and see which one would be a great fit, and we can rise together. Have the best day or night whenever you're listening to this, and I will speak to you really, really soon. Bye. Are you ready to create aligned, scalable results in your coaching or service-based business? If so, I'd love to work with you. I support my clients through my signature programs, Rise to Coach, which is for new coaches or service providers wanting to sign their first clients, and Rise to 6 to scale to consistent 10K months. DM me at Sofia Rose Bernardi on Instagram to learn more and see if one of my programs is the right fit for you.